Good morning, everybody. It's a rainy, drizzly day, but I'm still having fun. Man, oh man, yesterday was exciting. It was Camelot's first restrictor plate track race, and I was here at the bar. I was watching the race up on the TV. I had Ethan streaming on my phone, and I was yelling at the TV. And right off the bat, when the race started, I'm watching them go around, and I'm like, okay, I can see Camelot, I can see it. And then all of a sudden, they show them three wide, and Camelot's in the sucker hole in the middle. And I am now just screaming at the TV, get out of the hole! Get out of the sucker hole! Get out of there! Get out of there! And then he slides to the back, and I'm like, get behind that guy! Get behind him! You gotta draft! You gotta draft! So I was yelling and screaming at the TV, and it's easy to look at it and go, he didn't do well. But and I at first was like, man, he didn't do well. But then I thought about it, and I was like, wait a second. This was his very first restrictor plate race. Remember, he went to Daytona, but he didn't qualify. Okay, he qualified for this race. He was in the race, but it was his first time racing with other drivers. And as I pointed out last night on the chat with Danger Vanessa, or in the back bumper. You can't really see it all that because he's got like a semi yellow green car because of the cyber car, but he has yellow stripes on the back of his car. That indicates that he's a rookie driver, a rookie for the series. And the rookie stripes when you're at Talladega, and you need other people. You need people to race with. You need people to draft with. And many times drivers are leery of pulling up and of racing and drafting with rookies, and specifically if they don't have now the big teams, those that have like Bill Elliott. Bill Elliott, his car won. Bill Elliott is a legend within the NASCAR community. Um, uh, Dollar Bill from Dawsonville, as his nickname used to be, because he was winning so many of the $1 million races. Um, uh, it was just, I remember it was one of his nicknames was Dollar Bill. Uh, so his driver, he's got money, he's got the equipment, so it's easier for other drivers to trust him because of his equipment. Camelot doesn't have that. He's a homegrown racer, with homegrown, and he's even admitted himself. I was like, he doesn't have the money to have the same equipment as them, but from Ethan coming forward and doing the cybercar wrap, along with it leading to him getting the sponsorship deal with Tim Pool. It gave him the money to get a better engine, so he's more competitive. So for him to have finished 16th, I think it was their 16th or 17th. For him to finish the race as high as he did is good. He was a lap down, but men, he was 16th and he finished a lap down, which means there are a lot of other cars that finished a lap down or more that he was ahead of. That's a lot that's a big deal for a rookie driver. On top of that, also, um, so remember he finished a lap down, but there was only one car ahead of him that was a lap down. All the other cars finished that ahead of him finished in the lead lap. Okay. The bigger thing also was towards the end of the race, I saw him, and he was at the tail end of a pack of cars. So he was drafting in the back of that pack. So that helped him. So he's learning the draft, which is something you need to learn to be competitive at these restrictor plate tracks. Okay. Now, and again, another thing I really loved about yesterday was Ethan being there and streaming almost the entire race, um, from where he was, from his perspective. Um, when he when the when Ethan got there, okay, uh, and he was streaming. First and foremost, it wasn't shock jock Ethan. It was the real Ethan. And I liked the real Ethan. He was appreciative of what the fans had been able to do to make this happen. He was in awe of the beauty of the car. I remember he said how like that image that was on the car was the very first image of Cyberfrog that he did when he decided to do Cyberfrog as his own crowdfunded project. And it wasn't just that; it was he was like when they were pushing the car out onto the racetrack, and he's like in awe of how large the track was and how he was like he was relating it to when he was a child and going to see the baseball stadium where the Phillies play for the first time, how he was in awe of how large it was and how he's able to like use that personal experience to relay to you and to me how big and massive that track is, because you really don't understand how big that track is until you've been there. You've been to other tracks, okay? And these tracks are huge. They are mammoth. They are just it's just amazing how big they are. In fact, like the big track in Pennsylvania is Pocono. On race weekend, Pocono becomes population-wise the third largest city in the state. Okay, so uh, Scranton, nope. Harrisburg, nope. Lancaster, York, nope. Reading, nope. Uh, I mean, Philly and Pittsburgh, or Philly and Pittsburgh. On race weekend in Pocono, Pocono's the third largest population center in the state. Okay, just to give you an idea. So him being in awe of the track and him like looking at the racetrack going, that's at a 45-degree angle. I mean, Ethan doesn't know this NASCAR stuff, just so it really, again, watching him and how he's like, oh my gosh, and him in awe of it. I mean, that is the Ethan I like. Okay, and he made watching the race through his lens, and just like after the race started, going to the back and how like and also him just like going around and like Queen Bee was there and him walking up to the seeing Queen Bee at the fence and talking to her, and uh, the other uh, the other guy who was at the track, and he's talking to him. I mean, it was just I really liked it. I really enjoyed it, and I think that Ethan, he says he's going to C2E2. Honestly, guys, I don't think he is. I if think about it. Okay, he was in awe, has so much fun at Talladega. This Sunday or this Friday actually is going to be here. I'll make sure. This Friday is the Dover race, and that is nickname of that race track is the Monster Mile. Okay, others are referred to as the Coliseum of Racing. Dare Waltrip, when he had to describe Dover, he referred to it as jet fighters in a bull ring. Okay, so it's I just personally feel that he's going to get a lot more enjoyment and mileage out of going to uh, Dover, as opposed to causing a ruckus out uh, at C2E2. Okay, I just really do. First of all, Dover's not that far from Ethan. Okay, he can just hop over the Walt Whitman Bridge and catch the turnpike or one of the highways straight down there. If he's down this, now he's in Marlton, New Jersey, which is right across the river from Philly. But I look at it where it's like, I mean, my family members are in like South Jersey. For me to go to it, if I was in South Jersey, it'd be some matter of like the most arduous part of the trip would be getting the Cape May Loose Ferry across over to Maryland, and then from Maryland, you're literally actually no, the Loose Ferry's in Delaware, I think. So, but you get what I'm saying, how close it is for him. It's just a quick day trip for him. He can then, after the race, he can go home and sleep in his own bed. He can, if he wants after the race, him and Hunter can go to the casino because right there next to the racetrack is the is the Dover Casino. So there's a lot more. I can see Ethan not doing C2E2 and doing uh, Dover instead. And I think he'll do. I I think he'll do much better. I think he'll have a lot more fun. I think that mileage wise and content wise, he'll get more out of it. As he put it about at the track, and he goes, "These are our people." And yeah, I mean, a lot of NASCAR fans uh, are akin to uh, what what Comicsgate is about. So I personally see Ethan doing that as opposed to going to C2E2. That's my personal opinion. Whether he does or not, I don't know, but I do. I hope that if not, I hope Cecil is at Delaware and Cecil does that. If Ethan is there, Ethan, please, sir, please take some battery packs with you so you can stream the entire race. So your phone doesn't die. I would one thing we didn't get, which I was hoping to get, and Cecil didn't do it. I was kind of like, oh, Cecil, is that very moment when he gets out of the car, when he first pulls into the pit after the race, and he climbs out and he takes off his helmet. I want to see that moment. We're not going to see that moment on national TV. You guys have the opportunity to give us that moment, to see him get out of the car, to see his emotions at the most raw. Okay? Now, here's the thing to give everybody a understanding of how rough this racetrack is. Okay? The one driver, Jimmy Spencer, he was racing at that track. Okay, you know how when you take your tire off your car, there's the threaded studs that come out? The track is so tough and rough on these cars. I've seen brake pads break off. I've seen the disc pads completely break off and fall apart. When they the brakes, when they pull into the pits, they'll have somebody with an air hose blowing into the tires to blow all the brake dust out of the tires. Um, uh, like I said, Jimmy Spencer, the one time he pitted, they were changing the tire on his car, and the studs on the tires broke. Okay, that's I mean, unless it's a really old car or a really abused car, that doesn't happen. Even on abused cars, that really doesn't happen. But it happens at Dover. Okay, my example, and these cars, okay, these cars get beat the hell at Dover. Okay, the easiest, you know how Danger Vanessa, she's worried about our health, and she wants you to get your prostate exam, check for cancer. Okay, this track is the proctologist for race car drivers. Okay, okay, Camelot, he's going to get it up the ass. Every single driver is going to get it up the ass. Every single car driver after that race, when they say, "Do you do anal?" Their response is, "At Dover, yes," because you don't have a choice. You are going to be sodomized by another car on that track. The car, when the race is over, and they get out of those cars, and you look at those cars, it looks like a crushed beer can. It looks like you took a beer can and you went. That's what these cars are going to look like. Okay. Again, I would love to. I know we won't get it, but I would love to hear the communications between Camelot and his spotter during the race. When he's like asking like, "How bad's the car look?" And the spotter's going to be like, "Do you got four wheels? Yes. Is the engine still running? Yes. Then shut up and drive. Don't worry about it." And Camelot's response would be like, "Okay, boss, you got it." That's what Dover is. And I want us to. I'm just giving you guys a heads up because it eats cars alive. They call it the Monster Mile for a reason, because it just eats up and spits out cars. But the thing is also is you can have a car beat the hell, and I mean beat the fucking hell, and it still will have the ability to end the race in a good position. Okay, this is a track where he can beat the hell out of the car, and the car is going to look like shit, but as long as he still has handling and doesn't put it into the wall, he still has a chance. Because of that, just finishing the race, okay, just finishing the race in Dover is a huge accomplishment. So it's like he went, so let's say he gets another like 15th, 17th finish, and he's like 5 laps down. And the naysayers are like, yeah, he sucked. He was 7 laps down at the end of the race. Excuse me, he was 7 laps down. He finished the fucking race. There's a lot of cars that don't even be able to finish the race. There's going to be cars, I guarantee you, by lap 10 are beat the hell up and are out of the race. That's how that track is. That's what it does. Okay, it is a trash compactor for cars. So, and I think, like, again, I think about how like Ethan's like, oh, I'm gonna do C2E2. I'm gonna be going in cosplay, this and everything. Ethan, you're gonna have a hell of a lot more fun at Dover than being a shit stir uh, at C2E2. I just do believe that. Okay, and again, just I could tell when he was in so much. He was having so much fun and so in awe, and he made a point to point out to us how it's like he's like going up and keep in mind he's at that track, and you don't touch those fucking cars at Talladega. Okay, I remember Dan Patrick telling the story how he was at a race, and I think it was like Kansas or Chicago land, and here he had his beer. He was like, oh, I was having a drink of my beer and fitting in with all them NASCAR guys, and he was leaning up against the car to have his picture taken. Chad Canals was spitting bullets and just giving him the death stare of, stop touching my fucking car. Ethan was respectful of it. Did you ever see Ethan go up and lean against that car or put his hand on the car? No, you don't, because those cars are meticulously, unless you're an authorized person, you don't touch that car. Ethan didn't do that. He was going up. And he wasn't even getting close. He was like, finger was like 5 feet away, and he's pointing to the Comicsgate logo and the all caps logo, and how much of a big deal this was for him to have it on that car. And I want him to have that experience again in Dover. So, Ethan, I hope. Look, Ethan, I know that I say a lot of stuff in my videos, and I say a lot of stuff on Danger Vanessa's show that you don't like, okay? And I'll be honest with you, Ethan, ever since you started doing the trash cast, I've stopped watching you altogether. I'm like, I don't want that. I don't need that in my life. Um, but the Ethan I saw at Dover, Delaware, okay, so in so much awe, so appreciative. Um, Doing a little bit of shade with Frankie Muniz from Malcolm in the Middle, and they're like, "Oh, Frankie in the Middle is going to be Frankie the Last." And that's standard like shit talk. That's short sports shit talking. Okay, but I like that. I like that Ethan. Cecil was there, and that was the thing. Also, I really liked about Cecil was, now I'm not going to get into the whole Cecil Malin thing. Okay, I'm just talking about Cecil at the track. Okay, Cecil was just there supporting his buddy Camelot, and the way Cecil was acting, um, Cecil acted like he was a team member, and he was there, and he was like talking to the team manager, and the team manager was talking to Cecil, and it was almost like I said, Cecil, the way Cecil was handling himself, Cecil was handling himself as if he'd been there before, and this is nothing new to him, but yet, and again, Ethan Ethan was very respectful of everybody, very appreciative. I like that Ethan, and I think that Ethan, uh, he can make things, he can make more things happen in the real world as opposed to the Howard Stern shock jock that he does on YouTube. And so that's the reason why. I mean, like I said, that's the reason why I'm being so complimentary of Ethan right now, is because I really appreciate what he's done for Camelot and everything that's happened to Camelot since Ethan came on board with the crowdfunder. Okay, all of that he's been able to make happen. So you got to give Ethan credit where credit is due. So, okay, guys, remember, Dover race is Friday at 5 p.m. on FS1. So that's Friday. It's not Saturday. It's Friday. So I won't be streaming again until after the Dover race. Okay, so I'll be streaming on Saturday. Okay, so guys, have a good day. And don't forget, like, subscribe, comment, share it out. I mean, I I can't get those things unless I ask you for them. Okay? And like I said, put me in the comments. If I'm full of it's kind of like how Nate the lawyer goes. Am I wrong? Tell me in the comments. Am I right? Tell me in the comments. How did you feel? Tell me in the comments. Let me know. Okay? So, you guys all have a great day. I'm having a great day. But you know what? I do know that life is stressful, but that's why I just take it all one dot at a time.